Hi, builders. Welcome to the first ever episode of Building Onchain podcast. And I have with me today an amazing guest, Idris, or as he's popularly known as Olanetsoft. Hi, Idris.
Hello, how you doing? Hi everyone.
Okay, let's just get right into the podcast. My first question to you is how would you introduce yourself if you were trapped in an elevator with your all-time favorite builder?
Yes, I'll just say hi. It's nice to meet you. I am a developer and I build products for a living. I've been doing quite a lot of things and I'll be glad if we could collaborate to build something amazing. Then probably I can showcase like one thing I've done. I always have my demo ready so I can quickly showcase and then make sure I get like a contact or something to connect with the person at any point of time.
Yeah, and you kept it very short. You said you're a developer, and I know that you're in Web3. So, how did you get started in Web3? Like, what was the first chain you used, and what was the first ever thing that you deployed on a chain?
Yes, I think the first chain I used was Polygon. Polygon was the first one I tried in Ethereum. But then I used Polygon because of a tutorial I was going through then. That was my very first tutorial. And then subsequent ones, I started using Ethereum. I think it was Ropsten at the time. Yeah, I think it was Robson or Ricky B. Yeah, Ricky B or something like that. So that was the first one. And then my first contract was a greeter contract where you say hi and then somebody greets you back. And all of these things are recorded on chain. That's my first smart contract. That's the first thing I've ever worked on and then deployed on chain and also tested on chain. And it was quite
Yeah, so
fun.
this was definitely no, it sounds fun. This was definitely before the merge. If you're talking about Lapston and Rinkeby, because those were way back. I mean, not so long ago, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is around 2021. Yeah.
okay, nice, nice, nice. And so you've been building. Of all the projects you've
Yes.
built, which one would you say is your favorite or the coolest?
Yeah, so I think I've built like a couple of stuff, and also I'm a big fan of building a reusable tool that developers could benefit from. But then there's one that is really close to my heart, that also, give me some sort of exposure, gave me like a lot of gigs. This is me building a buy me a coffee decentralized application. So if you're familiar with, buy me a coffee where you could gift somebody an amount. So while I was learning then, after putting on after learning, I wanted to put it into practice. So what I did was to build a replica of Buy Me a Coffee, but now on chain. And that was the first thing I was able to build on my own without like any tutorial guide. And after building it, it was also, I'm a technical writer, so I was like inspired somehow to document that particular process. And then when I documented that process and share with the public, like it went crazy. It got over, I think, 50K views in 2 days. Like that's really insane. It was so like useful. I got a lot of comment, a lot of feedback on that particular project because now I did not just build a demo project. I replicated something that already exists and a lot of people are familiar with. So I would say that one in particular, it's kind of, close to my heart and has been like the coolest thing, considering the fact that I was just doing this to document on my own, and then a lot of people find it useful and interesting at the same time. I got like a lot of feedback. I also got, people reaching out saying, hey, we found this, your content online. Could you please create something for us? Can you build something with our product? Yeah, so that's like for me something that is really close to my heart. And even though after that I built like several other, projects and also written about them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I will after this call, I'm going to build a buy me a coffee decentralized application so that I can get some of that good action. I'm kidding. So, what do you do day to day? What do you work as in the Web3 space? I know, but I want you to tell everybody else.
Yeah, so I am a software engineer. do, Web 2 and now Web 3, maybe tomorrow Web 5. Generally, I'm a software engineer. I am also a technical writer, and currently I work as a developer advocate at Axella, and then I also do like community activities. So apart from building, I co-founded Web3 Africa community, which is a community that is open, a spin-off from Developer DAO. I also volunteer to lead Polygon Build Lagos. And apart from that, I invest so much time in teaching, technical content, education, speaking, and also building myself. So you find me like building almost every time. Even though like I give talks, I do all of those things, but I still stay glued to like continuous building. So yeah, that's like what I do in the tech space, what I do for the community, and also helping myself to grow while I help others to also achieve their dreams.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
spend a lot of your time building and like teaching and like supporting the community, and you wear so many hats. Outside of like Web3 and building, what are things that you do for fun?
Yeah, so I do like quite a few things. Like I just recently, start to, have a work-life balance, which is very hard because I'm always like in front of my PC almost every time. So I hit the gym. I try as much as possible to put gym within my schedule, no matter how busy or unless I'm tired, like super, super, super tired. So I hit the gym quite often, at least 4 times in a week. And also that's the barest minimum. So but then I also like to see movies, like interesting ones. I also like to go to the beach, like to just cool off. And at the same time, I play football. So these are the things I do on my own. Maybe it's boring to some other people, but then that's that's for me.
No, I think everybody has their own idea of fun, and not just fun, like what energizes them and what like what helps them recover from all the like hard work that they do. So you're a developer advocate at Axella. Um, I have an idea what Axella is,
Yeah.
but if I was new to Axella and the world of cross-chain communications, how would you explain what Axella is to me?
Yeah. So to keep things simple, Axella is a Web3 interoperability platform, and it's an open stack that connects all blockchains. So with a single click, you can use and build anywhere. So that's pretty much what Axela is all about.
Okay, so if I wanted to get started as a developer and with a single click build or deploy on tokens on any chain,
Yeah.
how would I get started?
Yeah, so for you to get started, our documentation is like the single source of truth. You can go to docs.axela.dev. That's docs, that's docs.axela.dev. You see like a proper flow where you could, start from the very beginning and then get to understand why Axela exists in the first place. What are some of the tools available to you? And the first thing you need to do to write your Hello World smart contract and deploy on one chain and use Axella to connect it to other chains. And then you see you move on to like apart from deploying on multiple chains, being able to interact with different protocol via Axella, sending LO message from chain A to chain B. And then if you also want to send like assets from chain A to chain B, you see a proper documentation that you can follow and also a tutorial that you can check out on our YouTube channel and also on your own directly from the docs. We have like contents that could guide you through all of this process step by step. Another one is if after going through the docs, you also have a repository called Axella Examples that you can check out. It contains a lot of code snippets, samples, examples that you can try out on your own. And the interesting part is you don't even need faucets to try. You can deploy locally and test cross-chain locally. We have implemented all of these things and you can quickly set that up in less than 2 minutes on your local machine to get started.
Okay, that's like really interesting. So I saw somewhere that Axela has really great support for devs, And so, apart from like great documentation and the examples and all of that, what are some of the ways that you support people that decide to build using Axella?
Yes, the person is correct because one of the things I do primarily as a developer advocate is not just to speak at events or like to give talks online. I also participate like actively in developer support. So this type of support is different from just giving you documentation, but also opening a channel for communication on our Discord or having a Telegram group just for your own project, right? So that way, if you have any question, you can ask, and then we get to answer your question. Primarily, we do developer support, and also apart from that, we also provide tools. I think one of the biggest things in the ecosystem, or like something very important and crucial for developer, or if you are building a product that's centered around developer, that is like developer first product, you need to understand that you have to make developers' life easier. They are already going through a lot. So what are some of the ways that you need to simplify things, not just giving them documentation, but also giving them a way to get started? If they are stuck, where do they need to check? What are some toolings that are available that ordinarily they should figure it out themselves, but you providing, that particular tool could help them quickly, get started and then build things without having to like start to reinvent the wheel at some point. So we have resources like the Axella example repo that I mentioned. It contains like VM support, contract, Cosmos, app tools, and then also we built a another tool specifically for Foundry lovers because everyone loves Foundry these days. So for Foundry lovers, we have tools that they can use to quickly get started and also help them build whenever they need to. So all of these processes are something that we prioritize, especially on the dev side of things.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Like all the hands-on support that you give developers.
Yeah.
Are there grants also that you give to like people building?
Yes, we have grants. We have like different categories that you could check out. So we have grants specifically for bug. We have grants for products, projects that are building on Axella. We also have grants for people that want to do like community activations around what we do at Axella and also how to continue to support us here. So the answer is yes, we have grants.
Okay. So this next question is not related to Axela. It's about you as a developer.
Yeah.
What was the last piece of code that you wrote? I saw you tweeting something about you spent 6 hours writing code and then it worked and then 2 hours later it's not working. So can you share like if it's not top secret?
Yeah, so the last time I committed code commits was just I think 20 minutes ago before joining this call. So that was the last time I pushed. Yeah. So yeah, and then talking about what was working before and then because I spent like yesterday it's a national holiday, but then I have like some other things that I'm planning personally. So I like crafted like put out some time during the day to make sure that I have like some planning, build, and then at the end of the day after building, going and then coming back, I want to replicate the same thing but for something different. Then now the code is no longer working. So I was stuck for like 2 hours trying to figure out why it wasn't working, something that worked perfectly fine before I stood up to like do some other stuff. So it was crazy, but eventually I was able to get it, even though I had to restart the entire process. I was able to figure out what was not working, but now it's working fine and I can get hold of the entire application. So I think I'm in control, I'm in charge right now. Yeah, until I don't know if anything happens again, like bug is normal, like you just have to figure out how to fix it. So yeah,
Yeah, I love that you're in charge now because
it's
everything is
working.
working.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like Web3 Africa is a community that's like really dear to my heart because as an African, I love building for Africans, but also like encouraging more African builders. And
yeah.
so, what are some of the current initiatives that are going on with Web3 Africa or like future plans? How do people get involved?
Yeah. So Thank you very much. So Web3 Africa, in case you're hearing Web3 Africa for the first time, it's a community that is driven by the community. It's a developer that was spin off, and our goal basically is to support, onboard, and educate Web3 builders. We prioritize anything around education. We prioritize anything around supporting builders to build great products, and then because we know that before you can build great products, you need to have an understanding. That's why we are focusing most of our energy on education so that when we educate you with the proper skill sets that you need, provide resources, then you can go out there and then build anything. So we've been doing like lots of training, online workshops, partnership, relevant partnership, and also we've gotten like a few grants that which shows like some sign that yes, we still want to be committed, and then people find what we are doing interesting. And also we have plans to continue to double down on our education, which in line with what our goal is all about. We have a Dev initiative coming up, and this will be practically hands-on, where we'll be bringing top tiers professionals within the African ecosystem, outside the African ecosystem, to come do like workshop, we walk through and also showcase whatever they are building or learning a particular concept directly from these builders. Like so, apart from that too, we have like upcoming plans for Hacker House, where we want to house builders to build interesting application. I know like Hacker House like is a thing this year, right? A lot of people are building stuff, and then people are now considering like in real life events and in real life, activities specific for developers. So this is also a top priority for us. We are also channeling, like we've been doing a lot of education support. We are not stopping. We continue to do that to support our developers. You can check out the Africa on YouTube channel. We also did like in real life events. Our most recent event we had was the one with Scroll, which is the Scroll blockchain that happened in Lagos. But the plan was not to stop there. The plan is to continue figure out how we want to support Web3 builders. So thank you for
Yeah,
that,
no.
Falo.
Yeah, no, thank you also for that, Idris. Also, yeah, like so when I introduced you in the beginning, I said like you're formerly known as Olanet Soft, but you had like a trouble with your account, like where it was suspended and everybody was like helping you tag Elon that and then you got it back after like a lot of months. So what are your thoughts on just that whole process and then on like Web3 social?
Yes. So Twitter has been like my most loved platform. To be honest, I've gotten like two full-time roles from Twitter. I've gotten a lot of gigs from Twitter. So Twitter is kind of dear to me. Twitter, formerly Twitter, right now X. So when I was suspended, it's like I was shocked, right? And the funny thing is that it happened like December 31st, like celebrating New Year, I don't have my account anymore for some reason. So I was suspended, and the process was like, what am I supposed to be doing now? I waited for like a month or two before I created like a new account just for me to keep up with what is going on in the ecosystem and the community. But then after like 6 months, I think it's up to is it up to 6 months? Like yeah, almost 6 months. I got my account back, and one thing I want to say with regards to that is, big shout out to like everyone that I've supported so far because when I made the post that here my account got suspended, a lot of people showed support, retweeted, tagged, Elen tagged the support, the Twitter, the X support guys. But this also tells me like, yeah, no matter how you want to build your, ecosystem or like build a community, make sure you don't have like everything on one single place, right? So you can start spreading your stuff. So if you are currently active on Twitter now, why not try LinkedIn? Maybe you post there once in a while. Maybe start posting regularly. You can also build your own base there, and you can go as far as creating your YouTube channel. Could be a good opportunity. So that way, you can always be sure that even if you are out of one particular platform, you can get connected with every other person within the ecosystem on different platforms. Different platform also comes with different audiences, which is something you can benefit from. Yeah. So that's like the lessons there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I like you've definitely learned a lot from that experience, and
Mhm.
I would like to ask you like something slightly controversial.
Okay.
What's your favorite programming language, and what's your worst programming language?
So let me flash back like 5 years ago when I started writing code. I would say Python was my favorite programming language because I started with C++ plus plus and I was going through hell. So I fell in love with Python. Then I found JavaScript and then end up just settling with JavaScript because I was able to, at least I can use the existing skill set to build things on the web, build the front end, build the back end. This regular story where you can build mobile app with JavaScript, front end, back end, cloud, ML, and all of that. So I tried it out and I find it very interesting. Taking it back like way back, I would say Python, and then over time I realized that I don't really have like favorites. I just use any programming language based on demand, like based on what I need to do. But then, in my own opinion, there's no bad programming language and there's no like worst programming language. Every programming language has its own, purpose. And then, of course, you can get paid job, paid role. You can get really good at any of this programming language over time. Yeah. So I've seen like, just like you mentioned, like it's a little bit controversial, like a lot of discussion around good, bad, worst. But I'm just that type of person that yes, I want to try things out based on, what I need to get things done. So for me, it's just always fun. All of these things, they are tools that you need to use to solve a problem. So that's the way I see
Okay,
it.
very, very, very safe answer.
That's the way I see it. Anyways, I can say yes, JavaScript is the best, TypeScript is the best, or Java is the best, whatever. But the main point is that if we want to be realistic, we know that these things are tools. You should not see it as something like if you are doing JavaScript, that's all you'll be doing forever. So you should be open to explore, be open to understand that these things are tools, these things are something you can use to build your own stuff.
Yeah, that's like spoken like a true software engineer, where you're solving problems, and any tool, any language is a tool to solve the
Exactly.
problems. Yeah, so my
Exactly.
final question to you is like in two parts. What's the best advice you've ever gotten as a builder in the space, and what's the worst advice you've ever gotten? And not, I know you like to be like diplomatic, so I don't mean bad advice, but like advice that did not apply to you or advice
Yeah.
that did not like work out for you. Okay, so best advice and worst in
Yeah, I think
quotation.
I will start with maybe worst. For me, it's work-life balance. Work-life balance did not apply to me, I would say, all my career. I think it's just recently I start to see how I can balance things. Right. I've always been the type of person that, yes, work, I need to get things done, I need to learn, I need to do all of. So when you're telling me work-life balance, I'm like, you're joking, bro. Like, if you want to really succeed as a developer, especially when you're starting out, or when you're at that stage where you just need to keep up, like, I don't think you should just forget about that work-life balance idea thing, right? And I was able to justify that it's a worst advice for telling any young devs. But yeah, I was able to justify the whole thing because I realized that those people that would tell you work-life balance is important. Maybe not everybody, maybe not all of them, where I'm not generalizing, right? But then check them well when they started, they know nothing about work-life balance when they started. But then they've grown to the extent that yes, some of them have started like having kids. Some of them are in that stage of settling down. Some of them already settled down, but then they now have time to do some other things. So they now start to think like, yes, I have family, I have other responsibilities, and that is because they've grown, they've settled with something, and they are comfortable with that thing, and then they've gotten really good at that particular thing. That even though they are not doing anything, like maybe they are sleeping right now, they'll still get paid, right? So I think that's one advice that did not work for me, and that I would never advise anybody if you're starting out. But at some point, you should also be able to know that limit, know your limits. That yes, I think I've done this a whole year. Maybe I should just rest, or like I should take it down. I should take it slowly this year. Doesn't mean that you need to stop. Taking it slow is just like you trying to get your balance, so that you can maintain that energy for a very long time. Yeah, so for the best advice, I think is the advice that I was given when I wanted to when I was interviewing for an internship position, and I was told we were going to be using C sharp, and I had knowledge in Python. Then when I was researching about C sharp, I see C sharp is just like Java, and because I don't like Java, so then I was not happy, but at the same time, I want to be like I want to get that internship opportunities. One of the best I got from one of my brother is into like IT, but not programming related. Is into over internet protocol as VoIP, Cisco, all this networking stuff. So he said, Idris, just try it out. Forget the fact that maybe you don't like it. Give it a try. And after 6 months, if it doesn't still make sense to you, then you can change paths. Like you can just resign or you can just start applying for other roles. Right? So like I took that advice and then I went all in. So that really helped me, and I'm really grateful, and I thank my stars that I took that advice then, because at the end of the 6 months, we're six that was doing we're doing like the internship program, and then they only just gave two guys full-time employment, which is myself and one other person. And that's like the starting point of me, you know, stepping my foot professionally into the software engineering space. And then I went straight to building production application with like top telecommunication companies in Nigeria and also outside Nigeria. So that's like one of the biggest advice that I've ever taken in my life.
That was amazing advice that he gave you, and also it was good that you stuck with the advice. All right, so this was a wonderful episode. It was really nice to learn about your story and all the cool things that you've built, Idris. Thank you so much.